welcome everybody to the Future of Search. My name is Alex Vorobiev. I'll be your host here. I'm a director of marketing at Autocorp.ai. And Autocorp.ai we have a platform that helps automotive dealerships turn in-store and online shoppers into buyers with a credit-first sales approach. And we are powered by Equifax. So if you're looking to streamline your lead management process and generate leads that convert at a higher rate, you can always go to Autocorp.ai and schedule a demo with our team. So without further ado, I'm going to pass the floor to Ali, and he's going to take away this wonderful presentation.
Awesome. Thank you, Alex, for having me on. Very excited to talk a little bit about the future of AI and just what's working right now in SEO and what's going to be working down the pipe. Before we get into that, a little bit about me. I'm the CEO of a company called the SEO Button. We basically work with mostly technology companies, but we do also have work with local to improve their SEO, improve their AEO or AI search results, and basically turn their organic traffic, so people that are looking for them, into their best sales channel. That's really the objective of the company. I've been personally doing SEO for about 10 years. It's a little over 12 at this point. I've worked on over 100 SEO and AEO projects in that time span. I've also authored 2 SEO courses, and I've taught over 6,000 students SEO. You can read a couple of our results. We've done a few crazy things. We've taken companies from 0 to almost 1 million in traffic. We've taken people from 0 to over 100 plus in sales, and some of those keywords that I've ranked are underneath. For today's discussion, like I was just mentioning earlier, we're going to be talking a little bit about the current state of SEO and what's working right now and it's going to continue to work. I'm going to be discussing a little bit about the future of SEO now that we have AI, which is an extremely good alternative to Google and for getting your answers, and just how you can start to show up a little bit there, and just the implications on both dealerships, local and global segments. These are some of the points I'll be discussing, but there also will be some time at the end to ask questions. Today's agenda, I'll be starting off with the current state of SEO, and we'll be having a little bit of a discussion around that. I'll be talking a little bit about the future of SEO and what's working and how you can prepare, and we'll be doing a little bit of an exercise together as a group to just get your feet wet with this AI search side of things. Before I go any further, would love if you guys could tell me a little bit more about who's just in the audience, where are you guys calling in from. It's always good to know that kind of stuff, if you feel comfortable. All good? Nobody wants to volunteer? Okay, no worries. It's a quiet crowd. You guys want to learn. So the current state of SEO. You might be, if you're chronically online or on LinkedIn, you might have seen a post similar to this quite a bit. There's a lot of pundits and gurus and just thought leaders in the space who have instantly saw AI and what it does and claim that SEO is kind of dead. These have been recurring pretty much. Like I said, I've been doing this for about 12 years. I think we've had a similar type of situation about 4 other times. When Google introduced their Penguin algorithm, which was basically targeting links, and link building became like a big sort of move point in the SEO world. So a lot of people were claiming that then when they introduced BART. And by the way, like, Google's been using AI for a while now, so it's not really, and it might be new for some people, but for people who've been working in the industry, this has been going on for a while. And just with different updates, there are different people speculating on how SEO is sort of in its dead or dying phase. And there's a lot of evidence to support that AI is taking over a bit of that traffic. I'm going to be showing you guys some ways which is digging into this traffic, but if you're someone who is in your Search Console and you're looking at these kind of things, this is a pretty consistent image across pretty much every SEO company that I work with and all the other SEO people that I know, which is basically clicks are pretty stagnant. Even though impressions are going up, which is basically how many people are seeing you in the SERP results, what's currently going on is that clicks are completely stagnant. This is mostly because what's happening is because the average click-through rate, where it was hovering around 2%, now it's in the 0.2%. So it's almost, decreased by like 5x in around that same point. So even if you're improving your impressions, you're getting higher traction in terms of ranking keywords. Simple fact is people are not clicking through to the results, which is sort of adding fire to this whole SEO's sort of debt conspiracy. In reality, what's happening is Google, in terms of how many people are searching on Google and traditional search engines, it's actually only gone down by 1%. And the upside is that you can see over here, AI tools are actually adding to how many people are actually searching. So we've lost 1% in terms of traditional search, which was pretty consistent for about a decade. But now what we're seeing is an influx in another medium, which is also helping out on the organic search side of things. So not only are people searching more, they're also actually, sorry, I forgot what I was gonna plug there, but if I remember it, it was a little bit of a saying. It's okay, I'll come back to it. The point is that there are more people who are searching, as well as they're doing more searches, as we can see over here. And we're actually able to track this on the back end as well. We can see a very sharp increase in the same timelines that the average click-through rates are going down. We're seeing a sharp contrast in terms of how much AI search is really contributing to it. And this is only really the beginning. This is pretty much the first year that we're starting to see this happen pretty consistently. So this is really like the first year that this is going on. Any reason you don't track AI? So the thing is, I'm using a particular tool, and this is Ahrefs, and this is the output that kind of it gives us back. Yeah. So like I said, this is year number 1, so still a lot of things are being figured out. Even the tracking side, which I can get into, it's also really being figured out at the moment. So what's taking away from this search? So before, what happened was when you would search something, you would see all of the search results over here. But now, as search evolves, we are seeing a couple of different things. We're seeing AI overviews come into coming into the space. So this is leading to people not clicking through and just getting their information as soon as they sort of type in the information. It's still extremely important to be here for visibility purposes, but they're not really translating into those clicks. So it's almost like a new paradigm. It's almost like mentions are the most important thing when it comes to AI search side of things, and then clicks are probably one of the most important things when it comes to the organic side of things. So you're getting less clicks, but now we're getting a lot more mentions online. We're also, when we're searching in ChatGPT, we're seeing all of these different results. So these are the kind of things that are clicking into the click-through rate going down. Here's another example of the AI mode in Google and just how that's contributing to it. So really, like, what's currently going on with the traditional and AI search side of things is that with the AI search side of things, more and more people are using it, and they're using it because there is less friction and there's a lot of hype around it as well. There are still a couple of constraints though. They haven't really figured out an advertising model. In a lot of locations, there's extremely low penetration when it comes to AI search. Apart from that, there's hallucinations, and then there's also potential lawsuits. So people don't like the fact that So the reason why Google became so successful is because early on in Google's life, they basically were like, hey, we want to keep people on Google for the least amount of time as possible. We want to send you that traffic. With AI search, that's not really happening. And a lot of big publishers are suing, or they're basically blocking these AI bots from crawling their websites. So that's still TBD. Like I mentioned, AI search is very much still the wild, wild west. It's changing every single week. But yeah, these are the things that we currently know about it. Apart from that, traditional search. So humongous, like a lot of penetration. Like I said, about 95% of Americans are still using it. The advantage with traditional search is that specific answers are being given by experts, at least hopefully. That's what's happening. That's what the entire Google algorithm is designed to surface, real, authentic, good content. Apart from that, AI search is basically, it's like AI search and traditional search, there's an extreme amount of overlap. The same links tend to show up about 60% of the time in the SERP results as well as the AI results. So you need to still rank on traditional search engines to be even considered for AI search. But the constraints are that there's a lot of friction. And as a result, people will turn to AI results a lot more for at least the general queries when they are doing their research. Yep, so this is currently what's going on with this side of things. I had one other thing to say, but I'll come back to that. Any volunteers for what's working on your end, or I'll give it a minute. All good? Okay. So before I really dive into, like I was mentioning at the beginning of my presentation, AI search, like this is just an evolution in search engines. From my perspective, there's a lot of people who argue, hey, do we call it GEO or do we call it AEO? These are different acronyms. From my perspective, it's still just search engine optimization. There's an immense amounts of overlap when it comes to optimizing for both AI search as well as traditional search. So in my world, it's still SEO, and AEO and GEO fall under the SEO umbrella. So before, when I was mentioning that, these times have repeated quite a few times before, as in terms of SEO and just what I've seen. So I'll quickly take you through a couple of those evolutions, simply because they're still very relevant to the search engine optimization process. So the first revolution happened with keywords in the 1980s. So this is basically like if you had the right keywords on your website, you would be able to rank. I'll go deeper into these topics. Then became backlinks, and then user signals, where Google started using a little bit more AI, and then now it's AI. So with each one of these, different optimizations needed to happen, and all of these are still extremely relevant for you to optimize. So firstly, with keywords, it's basically terms that are used by people when they're searching. So if you have those exact terms on your website as well, you are way more likely to rank. So the process is, what you want to do is, you want to do keyword research, and that's basically, you want to pull your competitors' keywords. You want to see what they're currently ranking for. You want to filter them down, and this is just a little bit of a process that I'm assuming everyone in this call will either hand this off, or if you're working on it, you can get additional resources from me. But this is the general process of pulling those correct keywords from your competitors, and then you would start to basically inject them into important parts of your website. So this includes homepage, service, product pages. For this group, it would be the car pages, any key blogs, as well as on-page elements such as title tags, meta descriptions, internal linking, body copy. This is where you would want to have those keywords in place. Apart from that, you would also be creating long-form content. So if you don't have a particular page, or maybe you have a certain card that you're looking to sell and that specific card doesn't have its own page, maybe it would be a good idea to create it. Maybe you find some queries around, how much XYZ costs or how much is the maintenance on this car. These are all very good long-form content pieces that you can really go after. And here's just a general process you can follow. Once again, just different optimizations you would want on your content creation process. Then we get into the era of backlinks. So this is really what differentiated Google from all the other search engines. Google was the first search engine to basically, so before what used to happen was if you had the right keywords, so this is like pre-1980s, like in that era, if you had the right keyword, you would rank on certain search engines. And Google wasn't the first search engine, it was just the best one, and it became synonymous. But if you were to just have the right keywords and the more time you had the right keywords, the higher you would basically rank. Google came out with this new strategy of backlinks, which is basically whenever you are, backlinks are basically whenever another website links to your website in certain ways. So you can see over here, I pulled a little bit of a text from Forbes, and you can see that the blue text, these would all be considered backlinks because they're pointing to different pages on another person's website, and Google considers that as a vote of confidence. So basically, the more times that happens, the more votes you get. The more votes you get, the higher you are to likelihood of you ranking. So essentially, yeah, so that was basically the next phase, and then Google basically iterated on it. So it wasn't just about having the most backlinks, but it was about having the best backlinks. So that's what you're currently seeing over here. RD basically means referring domains, and you can see over here the top results all have over 100 other websites talking about them. And you can kind of make sense of this, right? So if you're like the best auto dealership, it's likely that a lot of people are going to be talking about you. This is basically just an online version of that. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about how to build those links as well later. Actually, I'm going to do it right now. So there's a couple of pages you want to prioritize when you're sending backlinks to your homepage, service page, product pages, key blogs, once again. And essentially, like, your homepage will naturally attract links. So there's two different types of link building. Well, there's two different types of ways of getting links. There's link building, and then there's link earning. So link building basically occurs naturally. So these are just people who know about you and they're talking about you online. So if there's any way for you to stimulate that, that's great. But there's also like link and I actually confused those two. So that was link earning, and then link building is basically when you're reaching out to different people and you're asking them to give you a backlink on their website. And this usually involves a bit of outreach, and this is where link building specialists come into place. There's also websites that sell links. You can search them up, just links building services or link building companies, and you'll see a bunch of them where you can buy links. But this is still one of the most important factors, probably top 3 in terms of getting ranked. So the more quality links you can build, the better. I created a whole course on this, so I can't really discuss it on this call because it would take like 6 hours for me to teach you how to do this. But definitely just know that this is one of the most important parts, and you can do your own research or hire someone from that point. If you are looking for a link building structure, this is the one that I normally go with. This is for a email software, but we can just turn this into whatever you're also working on. So car dealership. So just imagine that this is your website, and then what will happen is your website will normally attract links, but you should also try to send them links as well. But what will happen is you're going to have different pages. So let's just treat these as your car pages. So you would obviously go ahead and you would optimize them with the correct keywords in the correct spots, but that's normally not enough. And the other thing about these types of pages is that they're not going to naturally attract links. So what you need to do is you need to start sending them links, whether that's through, once again, some email, some link building service, or maybe it's a consultant that you hire to build you links. And essentially what you're going to start to do is you're going to send these pages links, and that will help you rank higher in the results. So having the right keywords on your website will get you into Google's index in the right places, but sending links is what's actually going to help you move up in those rankings. And as you move up in those rankings, what will happen is you're more likely to get picked up by AI search engines as well, because they look at the search results when they're making their recommendations. And then lastly, what you would want to do is you would want to have blogs. So there's two different types of authority. So there's the link authority, and then there's also topical authority. So the next thing you would probably want to do is you want to start creating content related to this car page. So let's just say it's a Honda Civic. So maybe you create a couple of blogs which are talking about how to maintain a Honda Civic, how much does a Honda Civic cost, but what are the exact specs. Because what will happen then is that you start building topical authority. Google and other search engines start to believe that you are a authority figure in the space, and essentially that's what's also going to help this page rank, because you're going to internally link it back to your key page. And then what will happen is you can start sending these pages backlinks, because you can start funneling authority through these blogs to your money page, which is this one right here. So this is basically the general process of how you get pages ranked on search engines. Once again, you have your website, you create different pages that you want to rank for. Let's just say it's your car pages, so Honda Civic in X location. So you would basically go ahead and you would create this page, and then you start sending it authority through backlinks, and then you start building topical authority through the blogging that you do. So like I mentioned before, you can attract them naturally, but this is quite hard to do, as well as it's unpredictable, as well as it's quite hard to do it to specific car pages or specific product pages. So you can go to any one of these marketplaces. This is probably the most convenient option you can take. It's a bit more expensive to do it, as well as you're not going to get the best results. Or you can hire an agency or work with a freelancer, which is a little bit pricier in the short term, but overall you'll get way better results, way better links, and it will be a lot cheaper to get those links. So this is basically when I believe that Google started using AI, which is like in the 2014. Google really started stressing user signals. So apart from so once again, keywords will get you into Google's index. Well, no, it will get you into the right place in the index so that you can be referenced when someone searches your specific product. Backlinks will help you move up in those rankings. And then user signals is what's really going to help push you into those top 1, 2, or 3 spots. Because even if you have keywords and even if you have backlinks, if no one stays on your website, if no one engages with it, if no one scrolls or shows any engagement on your website, it's unlikely you're going to be at the top spot. Google tends to favor websites which do show user engagement. So when someone clicks through from the search results, do they also start clicking on other stuff? Do they start scrolling down your page? Do they spend time on your website longer than your competitors? So these are all elements, and this is basically a function of CRO, conversion rate optimization, and mixing in UX so that people actually understand and they get the answers that they want. So this is the third phase of Google, and this became really important around 2015, and it's still very important. If your competitors are keeping their people who click through on their website for 5 minutes and you're only doing it for 2, they're most likely going to outrank you. So these are all elements you need to consider, and these are the 3 top ones that you need to consider. Since everyone on this call is a local business, reviews, citations, and just signals are also important. So reviews, there's a lot of really good tools out there that help you collect reviews on autopilot. I know my barber does it every single time I get a haircut. They text me, they're like, hey, please give us a review. So I'm pretty sure you can also figure that portion out. And it is very important that you are getting reviews and authentic reviews. Citations are basically things that like different directories. So local directories, you want to make sure that you're in the yellow pages and you're in all of the major directories. You can use a company called Bright Local. Let me just type that in. Alex, if you know what that company is, if you don't mind, maybe you could just put in the URL. Bright Local is where you can do a lot of this research, as well as buy citations. And when you're buying citations, you want to make sure that it is the same. So if you don't have a Google My Business page, all of this advice is irrelevant. That's the first thing you should do. But once you have a Google My Business page, you're building reviews and you're getting citations, and you want to make sure that your name is spelled exactly the same in all of your citations. You want to make sure your phone number is exactly the same with the dashes, with the brackets, so it looks exactly the same. You want to make sure your address is exactly the same. So over here, you're not writing 1235 Finch Avenue W. It should always be West. So spell it exactly the same. And the more consistent you are, the more trust Google will have. And same thing with AI search. And then lastly, signals. This is really hard to control, but there's actually, so Google's tracking you. I don't know if you know that, but they're tracking where you're going, where you've been, where you're like visiting. So this basically means like customer traffic. Are people actually going to your store? And Google's like tracking that. Well, what are they searching when they're in your store? Stuff like that. So this is kind of hard to control. I know people who offer services where they basically have 100 phones, and they'll basically drive it to specific locations. So basically, if you want to bump in the rankings, what they'll do is they'll give you 100 reviews within a week, and then they'll drive those 100 phones to your store, and then they'll leave. But that's enough of a user signal that it will help you rank higher in the short term. But yeah, so this is just basically, it's hard to control, but this is something that Google is looking at. Now we get into the AI search side of things. So basically what's changed is that you don't really have a relationship. Like before, what happened is your relationship was with Google, but it was minor. So you can almost say that this part is still Google, but it was minor because Google wanted to send you to other websites. What's happening now is that you're no longer part of this. Basically, what happens is when you search something, ChatGPT controls it, and then they do their research, and then they give you the answer. So they're the actual ones doing the research on the net, and then they're coming back to you with answers. So basically, this is how it's kind of changed. So you have to now, if you want to rank on AI search engines like ChatGPT, you have to appease what they're essentially looking for, which I'll talk a little bit about next. And to be honest with you, it's not that different from what Google's looking for. They're looking for good content. They're looking for authority. They're looking whether you're ranking high on certain search engines. ChatGPT uses Bing. Google obviously uses Google. So it's still very important that you're doing these things. There's also many different ways where you can search. There's different models, there's different types of searches, and all of these impact what kind of results you get. So you have to do a little bit of research as to, hey, when I search in this specific term into these different types, what happens? What if I click instant answer? What comes up? What if I click thinking? What comes up? What if I click deep research? What comes up? Because people are searching all different ways. So this is some way that you can basically find out where you are and where you aren't showing up. There's also, you can basically tell the sources, right? So if you were to search something on AI search, let me see if I can do that right now. Yeah, so basically when you're searching up specific specs, what happens is you can see all of these different links right here. You can actually find out the exact sources that it's being pulled from. So you can search whatever you want. You can see what sources are being referenced, and this is a really good guide, right? So you can go through these results. You can see what they have that you don't, what types of results are being pulled up. It seems like if you want to get into this specific result, you're not only going to have to create a blog, but also a YouTube video could really work. You can see it's Reddit is being pulled. So really, like, whereas before you were kind of building backlinks to random websites, random authoritative websites, and kind of hoping that Google is crawling them and valuing them. With AI search, it makes your job a lot easier because it basically tells you where they're looking, what they're looking for, so you can kind of see what works. Apart from that, if you want to get ranked, you would try to approach these websites and you would ask them to give you a link. So this is really a useful thing that you can leverage. Apart from that, the other sort of hack that exists in the current moment is just comparative listicles. So there's a lot of, like top 10 type blogs that show up a lot, especially in AI search, and as well as they do really well on Google. So if you create comparative listicles, those tend to work the best. So it's just, the best dealerships in XYZ location. That is actually going to drive you a lot of traffic, both from AI search as well as normal traditional search. So if you're thinking about creating some content, I'm currently putting at least 25 to 50% of my resources in just those types of articles, which are top 10. And even though they do mention competitors, it's still good because you can frame it in the sense that, hey, we are the best for XYZ reason. And now you can sort of see it from all the other competitors. So don't shy away from that, because I believe that that's really going to work for a lot of businesses, even dealerships. This would be a really great tactic. Now we can do a little bit of an exercise. So this is a tool created by Steve Todd. He is an exceptional leader in the SEO and AEO space. So if you want to search up or just click through, you can do it on your own, which is called Brand Brain. So the first thing that you really want to do when you're trying to optimize for AI search is you want to understand, like, what does AI already understand about your brand? So basically all you have to do is just click on that link and then put in your brand name, or you can put in your URL, I think, and it will basically start telling you information about your company. So now what will happen is, now that we understand what's happening on our company, we can, most likely what's going to happen is you're going to find it's under optimized in a lot of places, it's wrong in others. So now at least we have this information, so we can start leveraging it, where we can start changing it. We can find out exactly where it got this information from. So if it does exist, we can go ahead and we can change it or add new information in. So this is really the first step. You need to understand what essentially Google understands about, or AI search understands about your business, and this is a tool that will help you do it. So once again, go ahead and test it out, see what you come up with, and read it over in your time, and try to find any irregularities. So now that you have that, what you can start to do is, once again, created by the same person, Steve Todd, SEO Notebook. What you can do is you can start to build out an LLM page. So this is still, this will at least help guide it. So this is one of the 2 ways that you would do this. Well, one of the 3 ways. So based on the information that you got over here, you would basically start changing your website and specific pages. Step number 2 could be you start building out an LLM page. So once again, you can YouTube exactly how to get this onto your website, but it's really simple. And this tool will basically build one out for you. So all I have to do is put in my website, and it will give me all of the information and just how it needs to be added to a different page. So basically what I would do is I would just add into the bottom of the page. And essentially what it's going to tell you is, do you want me to turn this into a machine readable format? And then you just have to say yes. And it will format that information so that LLMs can sort of read it a little bit better. The jury is still out on how useful this is, but I've done it for my clients, and but we've also done a lot of other things, so it's kind of hard for me to tell what exactly worked, but this is one of the things I have done for my clients. And once again, you're going to find a lot of irregularities. What you want to do is, just in this portion, you just want to ask it to fix it, and then build out the machine readable formatted one. But yeah, so this is what it kind of looks like. So this is where you can start adding in your information and just anything you would want to add that will basically impact how you're represented within AI search engines. And then maybe a week or 2 later, you can go back and you can rerun this exercise and see if anything's changed. And then there's other places where you would also do it. The third place you would do this is schema. You would get a lot of this information injected into your schema markup, which is basically it helps robots better understand your website as opposed to just normal HTML. And then the last thing you would want to start doing is same exact person, same tool, which is called deal breakers. And then this is where I like to basically like you want to start injecting the language that, or you want to start injecting in the copy that AI search bots are looking for based on their, based on their LLMs, and as well as basically like what people would be looking for. So this will basically tell you a list of deal breakers that that your customers would, yeah, it's like how do I explain this? Maybe I'll just show you. So over here, this will basically tell you things that people will, it will break the deal when it comes to Honda Civics. So this is all really good copy if you just reverse engineer it. So so this will tell you basically everything that that search engines that people are not looking for, like, or would break a deal, and then you would basically just use this information and try to rewrite some of your own copy with it. But yeah, that's and this will help you update some of your copies. You can start using these terms, this information, and this is really going to help you on the copy side. I think we're close to the end. Yeah, so like I was mentioning, schema. Once again, I try to use ChatGPT for this, so I'm actually working on schema for a couple of my clients. I'll show you really fast. So I basically use this, yeah. So I basically use this tool right here, Schema Markup Generator GPT, and this will basically help you create schema for your website. So you can put in whatever website you want, and it will help you create it. So create schema for So you can see over here, it will start generating a lot of the schema. Once again, you're going to have to update some of the content with this, and you can start playing around with it a little bit more. And then you can just schema markup validator. And you can go ahead and you can sort of see how it would look. So this one gave an error, so you would basically just go back to it. You're gonna have to go back to it a couple of times to basically get it right, but this will basically tell search engines exactly what you're about. You can see over here, it will also give them the address. So this is all very important, but you can see over here, it says Canada and the United States. So this is why you would want to validate it before you put it online. And yeah, so this will help you generate the schema markup. And once again, you can add a lot of that information from your LLM page generator to this as well. And then you would just give it to a developer who would add it into the right places. And if you have a WordPress website, it's actually quite easy to do. There's a lot of just plugins you can use as well. YouTube is working really well, both on traditional search as well as AI search. So you might want to start creating videos. I know that's a strategy that I'm using for one of my clients right now. We're really focusing in on YouTube, whether that's you creating your own or whether that's you sponsoring posts. That's really working. If you can get access to a Wikipedia editor, once again, this is probably not needed, but well, if you're a large dealership with locations across Canada, United States, maybe this is worthwhile for you. But Wikipedia is a place which is referenced a lot. But once again, if you're just a small one location shop, probably not needed. And then Reddit is really important. Especially ChatGPT, it's really looking at Reddit and looking at the conversations that are happening over here. So this is something you can hire out somebody to do. There's a lot of services that are doing Reddit marketing, and this is organic marketing, which is a little bit like it's not completely figured out, so it's a little bit risky. But it is somewhere where AI searches are looking for. But you can also organically do it, maybe just popping on, following a couple of the threads, plugging in your brand when it makes sense, giving information. So these are all really good places you might want to check, especially maybe even in your location. You might want to follow those as well. Yeah, and I was mentioning Wikipedia is one of the most referenced ones, and Reddit is getting up there as well. Lastly, I just want to talk about tracking. So you're probably all wondering when it comes to AI search. So with SEO, it's quite easy to track because we could just look at what's kind of ranking, and what kind of keywords are working. And there was a very established foundation for this. SCMrush, Ahrefs, they all did a really good job of tracking those types of keywords. But with LLMs, we don't really know what people are searching for. They haven't really offered a tool which is like AI search, which is like Search Console, so that we know exactly what kind of queries are being triggered, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, on the back end. So we have to rely on a couple of these tools. This one is a reference to Profound. There's also a couple of other ones such as Peak AI, and a couple of other ones. And if you follow my newsletter, which I'll plug next, I'm actually doing a little bit of an audit of a lot of tools, AI tracking tools, which you'll see in my next newsletter. But yeah, so like there's tools out there which will track it. They're not perfect, but it will at least give you visibility as to who's actually ranking for certain terms in certain locations. You can also put in your competitors, and you can track how often they're coming up as opposed to how often you're coming up in those specific prompts, so that you don't have to do it yourself manually. If you're operating on a smaller scale, then it's probably just go into ChatGPT, Claude, Perplexity, and you kind of do this research yourself with those keywords. But if you're obviously doing this at scale and you have hundreds of keywords that you want to track, then you would need to use a tool like this. Awesome. That's pretty much it for me.
Awesome. Thank you, Ali. All right, well, we're right on time. We've got about 10 minutes left. So if you guys have any questions, please feel free to drop them in the chat, and then we can address them right away. I guess I have a question, Ali. So our team is actively trying to implement some AI SEO strategies into our website. Obviously, ours is not a dealership type of website. It's more software. We're also trying to implement some of these strategies you've mentioned. I guess one question I have is how quickly do the LLMs pick up these changes that you're making on the website? Like how fast can they start ranking through AI search in your experience?
I think it's the same with traditional search, but it really depends on how big your website is and how often, like for example, like when it comes to Amazon, right? So Amazon's a huge website. There's a lot of people who go on it. They need fresh information always. So they get an extremely large what's called crawl budget. So basically their website gets crawled every single 10 minutes or every single half a day or something like that, because it warrants that. So really depending on how much traffic you're getting and how many people are actually coming to your website, I'm pretty sure that's how this would be determined as well.
Okay, makes sense. Thank you. We have a question from Chris. What do you think the role of ARIA has in AO?
I'm not really sure what ARIA is.
Chris, do you want to provide just a little bit more context for us? What is ARIA?
Accessible Rich Internet ARIA tags. Oh, yeah, sorry, Chris. I haven't looked into this, but it's great that you're flagging this. So I will look into this. But in terms of I'll give you a general answer. Alt tags are really important. Putting schema markup on your website, that's really important. So tags in general are important because it's not just about the humans that go on your website and interpret your website. It's like almost like UX for the back end of your website for robots. It's like UX for robots. So like whenever you're putting these tags, you're just helping robots more clearly understand what your website is about and what you're offering. But I'll look into this ARIA thing that you just mentioned.
All right. Awesome.
Cool.
Okay. Well, yeah, that's it for the webinar. Ali, do you want to throw up that last slide there? It just has your contact information in case somebody wants to reach out. All right. Yeah, so if you guys want to connect with Ali, if you want to bounce some ideas or get some more of his expertise, this is his contact information. As you mentioned before, he has a newsletter that you can also subscribe to get some of those insights from him in real time. And we will be sharing, like I said, the recording from this via email. So just look out for that coming to your inbox by the end of the week. And we're also going to be including the presentation deck as well as the insights from this webinar. And then finally, you also see the free AI checklist included in there as well. Again, thanks so much for attending, and we thank you for your time.
Better leads, less fraud, more deals. Autocorp.ai.